Todd, winner's interview. You guys take it away. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to the sideboard here at Star City Games, Columbus, Ohio, here at the Origins Game Fair.
It's okay, he's distracted by this thing.
That's right. I'm a little distracted by this adorable
Callie's
animal
little
here.
pet, what, raccoon?
It's a red panda, Todd.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, red pandas look like raccoons.
It's clearly a red panda.
Sure.
Anyway, Todd Anderson, you are used to this deal.
I mean, I guess.
This is your second Legacy Open win in 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's the same deck, very similar
yeah.
at least. And it's basically you and BBD and many of the other the crew there, also Lauren Nolan and Jack Fogle putting up really good results with it, have basically put the bullseye squarely on Deathblade as the enemy #1 of the format if you're going to play something else.
I mean, I guess so. The only problem is that the deck is just full of a bunch of good cards. You know, it's very similar to like John Didn't Standard. I mean, how much can you hate out, you know, a good stuff deck?
Absolutely.
I mean, all the spells have like a really high power level. So.
Yeah, even the 1-drops, Deathrite Shaman, Brainstorm, Ponder, very high power level. It's interesting when one of the worst top decks in your deck is the best equipment of all time.
What you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Jitte is actually the worst card in the deck. It's really gross.
it's a pretty disgusting deck. So let's back up a bit. In the quarterfinals, you played against Mike Kletz.
That was a marathon.
Yeah, it was a marathon. We had it all on camera. Yeah. That was a great match to watch. He had a very unique deck.
Yeah.
What did you think about that deck and the matchup? And
I mean, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
you're good.
I mean, his deck was really sweet. You know, just looking over, I saw like Cabal Pit with Life from the Loam and Intuition, and I was just like, man, this guy went deep.
Yeah.
And
Cabal Pit is a great replacement for things like Punishing Fire if you don't want to splash red.
Yeah. But I think the turning point in the match definitely came when he didn't main phase his activation of Pernicious Deed on my Geist of St. Traft that was equipped with a Batter Skull, and I was able to untap and then use Caracas to you know, bounce it back to my hand. He said he was like feeling a little under the weather, and I think, you know, it just sort of got in his head a little bit.
Sure.
He said he immediately regretted saying go because he was like, ah.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think the matchup's fine. You know, I sideboard into this like Geist aggro deck against all these control decks. You know, I leave in Force of Will. You know, I bring in like some disruption and really just try to like curve out and force him to have an answer for everything. And luckily, Geist has hexproof, and you know, he has to kill all my guys and then use Liliana or, you know, have Pernicious Deed.
Absolutely. And in the semifinals and the finals, you played against tempo decks.
Mm-hmm.
The tempo versus Esper Stoneblade matchup is something that people have seen on the Open Series for years at this point. People are very, they probably think that they're very confident with how that match will play out.
Sure.
But this new version of Deathblade...
Death Shaman's pretty good against all these dazes and spell pierces. Lets you just play around everything. It's so good.
Not to mention trying to get to thresholds.
Yeah, I mean, all these decks, you know, like the Rug specifically relies on their graveyard, you know, to pump things like Nimble Mongoose and Tarmogoyf, and when you can control their graveyard with Deathrite Shaman, it makes their creatures much less threatening, and you know, if you're able to get them down to a reasonable size, like you can even start blocking with things like Dark Confidant and trading off with Tarmogoyf if you're able to, you know, finagle it. But I mean, they only have 4 lightning bolts, and you have like 4 Stoneforge Mystic, Confidants, Deathrite Shamans that they just have to kill on the spot, and it's just, you're just overloading them with good cards. And when you have things like Deathrite Shaman, and I'm playing 24 lands, it's really easy to just not play a spell on the first few turns if you don't want to, and you know, play around all their you know,
all their taxing counter spells like Spell Pierce, things like that.
Exactly. I think the matchup is favorable for whoever is on the play, and luckily I was on the play against both of the decks in the top 4 in the finals. I think the blue-red-white one I played in the finals is a little bit harder, at least game 1, because he has Geist of St. Traft, and you know, my Abrupt Decays and Swords Plowshares can't kill it. But
absolutely, he also has a slight trump to your Deathrite Shamans in the Grim Lavamancers.
Not a bad guy. Yeah, but other than that, like after board, I get 3 Geists of my own to just legend rule. For now.
For now, exactly.
That's
things are going to get much more interesting in a couple of weeks
weird.
when we've got Geists on opposite sides of the table, Jaces on opposite sides of the table, so things will get much more interesting.
I don't know what they're doing, man. I think they're going crazy. But yeah, Supreme Verdict did a ton of work against these decks, and I was very happy with it. I only really brought it in against the Delver decks because I needed an uncounterable way to sweep the board and reset. But yeah, the deck was sweet. You know, I'm going to keep trying to work on it, update it. Check out my article this week. I'll put a little tidbit, maybe a few updates. You know, I talked about my article last week about the abrupt decays, and they were insane. So
Absolutely,
they were
yeah.
good.
Having abrupt decay and supreme verdict in the same deck together,
Yeah.
neither of them can be counterspelled. But when you've got the Scrubland Tropical Island mana base, you can make it work. Apparently, if you have the last name Anderson, that's what it takes to win a Legacy Open. Last three are Anderson, Anderson, Anderson. We'll see if you can keep the streak going at your next Open. When are you battling
I
next?
might be going to Philly next weekend, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
I love the reading terminal market, so.
There you go. So be on the lookout for Todd at SCG Philly. Todd, congratulations.
Thanks, Ruben.
That's it from the sideboard here at Star City Games Origins. My name is Ruben Bressler, and we're going to toss it back to the booth. I'll see you next time.